Right, shalom. All praise unto Yahweh Shami Hawashai, and the Heavenly Father and His Son, and double honors unto the apostles, the elders which are at Great Millstone, and honors to all you brothers out there on the highways and the byways, fighting the fight, the real fight. Okay, spiritual warfare, and shalom to you brothers and sisters out there that are trying to follow the path, man. As best you can, man, in sincerity and in faith. Okay, so this is just going to be now us going into the family life in ancient Israel, man. And I've got an article here which is going to provide most of the information. I'll put the link up, so brothers can read through it themselves. But I'm just taking excerpts from it, and it's called Family Life in the Bible, man. Okay, and first we're just going to get the main scripture of the whole thing all over again. Jeremiah 6 and what is it? Jeremiah 6 and 16. This is just part of us remembering the old paths, man. Okay? Because like I said, in the previous video, our family structure is so fucked up now that we really don't even know what a family is no more. Not how many of us actually grew up in a real family. Like, no, we didn't. We never had a father that actually knew what the role of a father is, or according to the scriptures, or a mother that really knew what the duty of life was. None of them, we just grew up in some westernized bullshit, man. Some of us, you grew up in the islands, you might have a little bit more, but because in the islands they kind of live a little bit more ancient, man. They live depending on the island you're from, okay. But even that is all fucked up now. That's all westernized and fucked up. And my family, I mean, we used to live like the way we used to be is like kind of like some of the aspects they read about. Like we had a close knit family unit. We all live like a stone throw away from each other. We're very involved in each other's lives and help each other out. As soon as we came to England, that all went out the fucking window, man. That shows you that any time you get around a white man, it's a fast track to the dead zone. Get that scripture out.
Yeah, man. But like Bob was saying, man, a family is more than the father, the wife, the brother and sister.
In physicality.
Yeah.
Like your dad is just a man that busts the seed, like.
Yeah. These people in the house these days, they have no real purpose, man. They don't fulfill the roles that they're which they hold, the titles that they hold, man. But this is Jeremiah 6 verse 16. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they say we will not walk therein."
Right. So I'm gonna just start reading from the first chapter, which was Family Life in Ancient Israel, General Characteristics. Extended kinship, which is something people don't really understand nowadays, as the basis of social organization and obligations. So the family was actually political, and when you talk about political and all that stuff, like nowadays you got actual political groups and separate groups, different people. No, back then the family everything ran through the family. Everything ran through the family and the family structure. Okay, whenever something was going on, heads of families met up, and they represented maybe like 7-8 families that were all related. That's how things were done back then. All right. So and another thing is, these ancient ways were kind of mirrored as well by other ancient nations, which is why you still see some nations today have certain parts of, but they go off on certain other things. So it says the social organization of West Semitic tribal groups was grounded in kinship. Kinship relations define the rights and obligations, the duties, status and privileges of tribal members, which is totally alien to what we deal with today. And kinship terminology provided the only language for expressing legal, political and religious institutions. Kinship was conceived in terms of one blood flowing through the veins of the kinship group. Okay, so nowadays people go based upon where you live, and no, people dealt with kinship. Bloodline. That's how everyone was grouped together. Alright. Now it says there's 3 levels of kinship, which this is gonna be completely alien to us. We'll get Joshua 7:16 to 18, and it's gonna show you the 3 levels of kinship, which we're gonna go back to that. Okay, starting from afresh when we get into the kingdom.
Joshua what, sorry?
Joshua 7 and 16 to 18.
Okay, this is Joshua chapter 7 verse 16. So Joshua rose up early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes.
Right. Israel by their tribes. So this is going into the level of kinship. The first level is your national level, right? The 12 tribes together as one, because we all come from the one little small family, okay, which was Jacob and Rachel, Leah, yeah.
And the tribe of Judah was taken.
Right, so the tribe of Judah, so that's the next level, the tribe. So these dumb fucking black unconsciousness monkeys, man, they can't even get that around their head, how to deal with tribes. The Africans to this fucking day don't deal with black, you man, you dummies, man, okay, you clowns, okay, to this fucking day, if you actually meet an African, even West Africans, they have tribes. They're tribal people. Afghanistan, tribal people. Pakistan, tribal people.
That's why we blowing each other up, man.
But you niggas are color people. You show me an Egyptian writing where they dealt with each other based upon color. You assholes. Okay? Melanin is just sunblock, nigga. There's no power in that. Black power. Black. What are you talking about? It's sunblock, nigga. Clowns, man. Tribe. So the tribe of Judah, that's the first level. Go on, bro.
And he brought the family of Judah, and he took the family of the Zarhites.
The Zarhites was another level of it. So the Zarhites, that's another level. Go on.
And he brought the family of the Zarhites man by man, and Zabdi was taken.
Go on.
And he brought his household man by man.
So Zabdi's household, now you're going to find out something about Zabdi's household. Zabdi's household was actually an extended family. See, that's how man dealt. He was the head of an extended family. Zabdi. Go on.
And he brought his household man by man, and Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was taken.
That's right. So Achan was his grandson, but Achan was still considered as part of his household. So guess what? He held precedence over Achan. Real authority. That people don't know about today. Go on.
Mm-hmm. And Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession unto him.
Right, so that's point. So that gives an example of the 3 levels of kinship that we used to deal with in the ancient times. You had your tribe, then you had like a what would be known as a clan. Okay, the Zarhites would be like a clan, okay, which was a massive group of extended families. Then you get the extended family, and then you get like a man out of that extended family and his little household, which will be his, well, we're going to go on to show. Let's get another quick example. The book of Judges 6 and 15.
It's the book of Judges chapter 6 verse 16, was it?
15.
Verse 15. And he said unto me, and he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house.
Yeah, so his family was poor in Manasseh, meaning out of the whole tribe of Manasseh. When he said his family, really the word there really goes back to his clan. His clan was a poor clan because it was all economical too. And I am the least in my father's house. His father's house represented, he weren't no child, he was part of an extended family. So his father's house was represented his father and all of his brothers and their wives and their sons and so forth. That was his father's house. Okay?
Because he's basically saying he's low level.
His clan was lower because different clans would be more economically strong than another clan based upon, you know, crops or, you know, whatever. You know the deal. That's where you get economy. Economia means house management. Alright? Okay, that was it. And that'll be it on that. So let's get into the term the father's house, which is something we don't really know about. The father's house, e.g. Genesis 24 and 38. This was the most important small unit in the nation, and for the individual Israelite was the essential locus of personal security. So your personal security came from your father's house, your house. Okay? The father's house was an extended family comprising of all descendants of a single living ancestor. Thus, the Bet Ab included the head of the house and his wife or wives, his sons and their wives, his grandsons and their wives, plus any unmarried sons or daughters in the generations below him, along with all the non-related dependents, slaves, sojourners, resident laborers, sometimes resident Levites. So you see how it's kind of like a business? So even the laborers and that will be considered as part of the household. That's why I'm telling you that the corporation today, that's pretty much a carbon copy of what a family should really be like. You got the shareholders, which are the actual bloodline family members, but you also got your slaves and all that will be part of your household, but they're not inheritable. They don't have an inheritance, but they work for the house. That's part of the house, man. Okay? So the house was that organization, and that's from, well, you can see the references if you look it up. Now they show here, see also the mother's house, which is also mentioned 3 to 4 times in the scriptures. But again, your mother's house just simply represents that your father's still it's your father's house because it's his name, because your mother is part of that, you can be said in loose terms it's her house as well, but it's his name. Okay, because they become as one flesh. Alright, so let's jump down to functions. Social roles of the Bet Ab include economic. So one of the main functions of the household was economic, right? Now, you can see that with these Indians and these Pakis, man. That's why they got no more money than Jake. Because they operate as families, man. They don't operate as individuals. They operate as families. They have economies of scale. Jake don't do that. Okay? Jake are all divided up. Now the word economy means house management. Now the household was the basic economic unit in ancient Israel. The Bet Ab, or the house, was the basic unit of Israel's system of land tenure, each having its own inheritance of land and therewith intended to be economically self-sufficient, which is what we're going to go back to be in the kingdom. Each Israelite man, we're all going to, if Lord willing be of those men, the Lord's going to give us all land. So we're all going to be economically independent in that way. You can grow your own food and so forth. Alright? Anthropologists appear to be unanimous in their assessment of the individual household as the basic economic unit in traditional agricultural societies. Brenner even asserts that the economic productive role of the household predominates over the reproductive function. The understanding that a fundamental human unit, according to the Hebrew Bible, is heterosexual and essentially a unit of reproduction, and only then a unit of production, as in Genesis 1 and 3, can be put on its head. So basically, it really is both. It's not only to produce children, but it's also to make it, because if you're going to produce children, what's the point if they're not going to have a means to live? So the house, the structure of the house was set up to keep that financial unit. That's why you had an inheritance and a land attached to it. Alright? A fundamental human social unit will have its first interest as production for sustenance, with reproduction as just one facet of that necessity. Okay? Now the roles of men and women in economic production. The economic situation in Israel was one of interdependence. Newer studies of traditional society show that women's household economic roles in both subsistence tasks and craft production function in ways that contest our often unexamined but persistent notions of female dependency and patriarchal dominance. The work patterns and authority structures in pre-modern societies meant that daily life was really hierarchical around gender lines, and that's what material remains. So what they're trying to say there is, you got to understand that they all had roles and jobs within the house, and they would all be working. For instance, if you go to what it's going to go into is that's why it says consequently the husband in ancient Israel should not be referred to as the breadwinner, because it was an effort of the whole house. the man would have his role, so whatever he was doing, like farming or whatever, but the woman would also help with that too, okay? Because they work together. So for instance, if you get Proverbs 31, we get to the point, you had women that as part of their job role, which proves that it's employment in the household, they would go and make garments and go sell them and make money for the household. But at the same time, they would still, their main thing was what? Taking care of the children. Keeping the home. But they had extra activities. And you used to have that back on the islands. You had women that they would take care of the kids, wash, clean and that, and then in their spare time they would make clothes and shit like that to sell, to make money for the household. Okay? So the man wasn't necessarily the only one bringing money or productiveness into the home. The woman would bring productiveness as well. But guess what? It was all towards the household and not just for herself. As it is now, you got this independent woman thing that's out of control, where a woman's going to go get a career and she ain't going to be playing no role in the house. That's going off, and that's out of order, and that's out of balance. Okay?
We jump from verse 10.
Jump down to Gertie for 31 and 15. Because in fact the whole thing is, we'll read it real quick. Because this is what women would do. Women have specific jobs within the home. And it ain't just one thing. It ain't just washing dishes, or it ain't just cooking. There's a variety of jobs that a woman would do to help her household. And the more she does, the better. The more, but the whole point is she's doing it for the good of the household, not just for herself, so she could buy her Armani back, like these selfish bitches are today. Go on up.
It's Proverbs 31 verse 15. She riseth also while it is yet night.
Wait, start from verse 10. And this is what we're going to get in the kingdom. We're going to get women like this.
Okay, this is verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Yep.
The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need for spoil.
We are going to be able to trust our women in the kingdom, because our women are not going to be filthy demonic. You can't trust a nigger woman now. You do that at your own peril, okay? But in the kingdom, we ain't going to have the same women. Okay, go on.
She will do him good and not evil.
She will do him what?
Good.
Now, what did it say back with Adam and Eve?
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to be a benefit, to do good. She will do him good and not evil. Go on.
And not evil all the days of her life.
All the day, and that's how it's going to be in the kingdom, man. Our women, our wives are going to do us good and not evil all the days of their life, man. Okay?
She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands.
Worketh what?
Willingly.
Willingly. Not like,
Begrudgingly.
Begrudgingly. She going to do it willingly because she wants to do it for the good of her household and her husband. Mm-hmm. Go on.
She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar.
Mm-hmm.
She rises also while it is yet night and giveth meat.
Right, because you had certain women that would have to walk to the well or whatever it is. The well might not be just outside the house. It might be somewhere in the village. They got to walk to it to bring water back and them kind of things. Yeah.
She rises also while it is yet night and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maids.
Mm-hmm.
She considereth a field.
She consider, meaning she planning on a field. So you had in the ancient times a woman, if she was prudent, would actually look to do business. Do you know what I'm saying? On a certain level, like she would look at a field like, yeah, we could buy that field. But guess what? That would have to be okayed by the manager, the CEO, which is the husband. She wouldn't be acting independently on her own, but she would look to do certain things. Go on, no? Not like today. You got these independent women that want to just do things on their own with no consultation. That's going off.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard.
With the fruit of her hands she planted a vineyard. Okay, so women would do it. They weren't just sitting around having sex and popping babies out all day. They had roles within the household, man, which they would fit into, which would be managed, man, by the husband. Go on.
She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms.
Yeah, they weren't lazy like a lot of these young bitches are today. Okay, the nigga and the women never used to be this lazy, man. Because I know a lot of my aunties and that, they were straight up working for the NHS. They can't even walk now. Working long hours and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wiping crackers' asses and lifting shit.
She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night.
Mm-hmm.
She layeth her hands to the spindle and her hands hold the staff.
Yep.
She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
The elders of the land, which were the heads of the family, the heads of the different households, which would be like the great granddads and shit. Or the granddads, yep.
She maketh fine linen and selleth it.
She maketh fine linen and selleth it. So no one ain't said that a woman can't be industrious, but you nigga women, where you're going off is you're not doing it for the good of any household. You're just some individuals, man, and that's going off. And you ain't trying to be managed by no one. You still have to be managed, man. And if your husband say, look, nah, man, I want you to stop doing that. You gonna do this now. That's what you gonna do. And the fucking you do that when you're at your workplace, man. For the white man. You don't. If the white man tell you, look, man, this is what you gotta do. Now, you don't fucking start popping shit. But that's why, man, we gotta get out of this place, man, and go back to the proper way. Okay, and get women like this, which this is gonna be part of the blessing that we're gonna get. We're gonna get back our women, man, because the Lord took our women away, and the Lord's gonna give them back. Go on, bro.
Yep. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing. So the honor.
Strength and honor are and you know what? These fucking Indian women, they do this. These a lot of these clothing that are put in the stores, it's actually groups of Indian women in their homes that actually are making it, and then they give it to the merchant, and the merchant sell it, man. So, but the nigga woman don't do that, okay? She ain't doing that, man. She'd rather sit on her ass, man, and talk a whole lot of bullshit about nothing, man. Totally unequipped, no skills. Where ancient women had skills, man, which would benefit their household. They were taught skills. But that's why you can't really even blame a lot of these young bitches, because they weren't taught nothing. They weren't taught nothing, man. Go on, bro.
Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom.
Opening of her mouth with wisdom, and that don't mean she a prophet or nothing, but because she fucking listen, man.
She knows when to speak.
She knows when to speak, and guess what? When her husband teaches her something, she listens. A lot of you nigga women, man, you find it very difficult to listen to something that your husband says. But when you're at work now and the white man tells you something, you're going to run with the white man's wisdom. But in the kingdom, you women, you're going to be taught by us, man. And you're going to roll with the wisdom that you're going to regurgitate everything we say. You're going to believe in what we believe in. Go on, bro.
And in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household.
Read that again. Read that again. Because you got to read that again. What is no? She's looking to her own career or to herself, her own individualness. The scripture tells you she looketh well to the ways of her household. That was her priority, which represents her husband. And when she gets children, that includes the children. Well, we already showed what the household is. Go on. Lord.
And eateth not the bread of idleness.
Eateth not the bread of idleness.
Can't potatoes, man.
There's a lot of work involved here. That shows you that the household is really a business. And both the man would have what he would be doing, and the woman would have what she would be doing. But it's all working together, and the man would be the head of it and the manager. And that's the man's job, to manage everything and make sure that everything's balanced. Okay?
Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
Yeah, because just because a woman is beautiful, don't mean that she's right, man. And just because you show her favor, don't mean she's gonna be right either. Okay?
Beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord shall be praised.
And all you women, you're gonna fear the Lord in the kingdom. All the Israelite women are gonna be perfect and holy, and they're gonna fear the Lord in the kingdom. The nigger woman is gonna cease. There ain't gonna be no nigger woman, man. It's gonna be a thing of the past. Just like there ain't gonna be no more niggas either.
Yeah. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
There you go. Alright? So it ain't, people try to make it look like women in the ancient world were locked in a room somewhere. You know, chained to a sink. Or chained to, no, they were in a family, man. And they were things that they would be doing, man. But it was for the good of their household. But they wouldn't be taking plane trips to other countries and shit. But you gotta understand that they didn't live in a city. They didn't live in New York. It was a village, man. Like the next door neighbors was family. Okay? They would go to the village market, but it weren't like going from here to down to central London and shit with all strangers and, you know, kind of madness going on. Okay? Alright? So let's jump down to security. So that's another thing. See that open, when you look at it like that, it's in the scriptures and it shows you how things are really meant to be run, man. Okay? Now, it says security. It says the household provided a measure of emotional security and stability for all members of the household, including those not biologically affiliated. The only condition being a willingness to live by the consensual ethic, which is the law, okay, and ethos of the larger kinship group. You see that? So guess what would happen? Like if you had like a household which was made up of many families, right? If everyone in each individual family knew what the deal was, what was acceptable and what wasn't acceptable, and if something went down, all those families will get together, consult with the head, and judgment will have to come down. Okay? To rectify a situation. If you want to be down with the family, you have to follow, like the mafia. That's how the mafia roll. They got the family, and if you violate and do something that you ain't going along with the ethos of the family, then you have to get cut out. It's an honor killing, and that's what's going. 230 Israelites, it's an honor killing for you, man, because you ain't getting down with the ethos of the wider kinship group. Okay, now jump down to judicial, because we're used to a judicial society where you got a court system and the judge don't fucking know you. You know, you got arrested, the policeman don't fucking know you. Could be a foreigner. It was not run like that. Okay? It wasn't run like that. No New York City, you know, all kind of gooks and all these kind of motherfuckers are judges. And no, the judicial system was, the first step was internal domestic jurisdiction. The head of the household could act without reference to civil authorities in certain manners, including marriage, divorce, matters relating to slaves, and parental discipline. So you had the father who was the head of the house, but then you also had the head of the household, which was the extended family, and he would basically have a big veto on shit. He could veto. That's the kind of power your granddad or your great granddad would have. He could veto shit. Alright? That's how it was, man. So like in your household, like it's unknown now, but if your father didn't want you to marry a man, your ass weren't marrying him. And it's as simple as that. Your mother and father, they have the ultimate choice about who you marry. Now you might say, I want to marry this guy, and they might agree with you. But if they didn't agree with you, then that just didn't happen, and that was the end of it. And on a certain extent, it used to be like that with the sons too. Because if you had a son, you say, look son, you're going to marry this woman, well, he's damn well right he's going to marry her. And they show you that in Game of Thrones. Because the head of the household had basically a big veto on what was going on in his house. Even down to the families underneath him, man.
Well, it's like when was it Abraham sent for Isaac's wife?
Yeah, he set that up.
Yeah.
Isaac didn't have no say in it.
Exactly. He's pleased. He was happy. He was happy with the choice. Yep. You know, but he didn't have no say in that.
A lot of them would, you know, you had to marry your cousin or whatever it is. That's what arranged marriages, and they were set up as it was a family thing too. It would be like a group, like your grandfather say, look man, your son there, I think he'll be good to marry, and he would set that up and that would be done. That was done among the families. Alright? It says here, external public justice. The heads of households acted as the elders in the gates. You see what I'm saying? So all the great granddads and that, they would be the elders, man. Not like today where you got some, you know, no, the elders of the gate, they were the judges. And they administer in public justice. All right.
I mean, the elders these days are not respected by nobody, man.
Yeah, no one
No
gives
one
a fuck.
cares
He's his
about
granddad,
him.
you know.
Yeah, you don't know he's old.
You know, that's not how it was, man. That's not how it was. But like I said, we're not used to living in that ancient thing of family, which is gonna go back to that. It's gonna go back to that. Didactic. A most important aspect of role of family in ancient Israel was as the vehicle of continuity for the faith, history, law, and tradition of the nation. So you see, now you're starting to see how important the family is, man. So, you know, at that point, this is a good point to stop there. To that point, man, you know. So you see exactly what we're talking about this household thing, of how the family operates in that way. You know, in the general terms of structure. Ain't none of us grown up in that, man. Ain't none of us grown up in that. And you know that the children would have to bow down before the parents, man. When you come before your parents, you have to bow down, man. Show great respect and honor, man. People don't show no great respect and honor to their parents no more. These children are out of fucking order, man. Even we were really out of order, man. We didn't really show the proper respect, man. I don't remember bowing down before my father, man. You just show respect, man. Well, you ain't really have no really relationship with you know, your mother and your father, man. To be honest with you, okay, it's all bullshit, man. All right. So let me just we gonna get into this marriage thing.